because you're...
Hey, people! How are you? Oh my gosh. So not used to having two people down here.
butting into each other.
So hold on. There we go. Okay, so there's a delay. Anyway, super excited. I have my quilt bestie here, Barb, with me. You know, I talk about her all the time. Super excited to see. We've got, Sandra from Brazil. Love it, love it. So keep popping in, and we've got Germany too. Wow. I love that. Nice. Excellent. All right, so Barb has been prolific, right? And we were just discussing my studio issues here today because I've now been in this spot for 4 years. Yeah. And I really am struggling to be down here, be motivated while I'm down here. So Barb, with her fresh eye, was like, do this, do that, do this, do that. So guess what I'm doing later as soon as I get off here?
I'm leaving. I gotta go. But, you know, I gave her great suggestions.
Yes, you did. You gave me some good suggestions. So I will be rearranging my studio yet again. This is the third time since I've been here,
so here's the history behind it. You had a space that was amazing.
Yeah.
Right?
It was.
So, you know, just life happens, things change, and now you're trying to create a new studio in a space that is a quarter of
a quarter,
size,
yeah,
right?
Super small.
Right. So, and we all know that quilting has lots of parts.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of clutter. So you're always constantly trying to reorganize, rebuy at the Container Store, move stuff around. And honestly, you just haven't found it hasn't clicked yet.
It hasn't.
No.
Well, let's hope that the fourth time is a charm. We're going to cross our fingers. So I'm kind of leaning forward. I'm trying to read some of your comments. Oh, okay. Teresa, I don't know which pen you're talking about. Is it the Marvy marker pen, or are you just talking about the drawing pen, the Uniball that I love? The Uniball pens. These are the best. Love them. Hi, Carol. How are you? Okay. So, again, back to Barb being prolific, right?
Sometimes.
She's constantly creating stuff in her beautiful, sunny, love her studio. I'm just going to move into hers.
Yeah, just come over.
So her latest was one that she did for herself. It's a king size bed quilt with stars. So this is the quilt that she made, and you can see the quilting, and I did that by design. You can see a little bit. I believe, tell me the stars. Were you going to do them all the same and then go
I was. I did the red part first, and the red was all the same. And you know, we're going to talk about that today, and that almost killed me. And I don't know why. After I did that, I'm like, all right, well, the quilt's also big, so it's been on my table for a really long time, right? On my long arm. So I'm like, well, I'm just going to do these stars all the same. Didn't I learn anything? I don't like all the same. And as soon as I did the first three, I'm like, oh yeah, there's other possibilities.
Well, I also feel like as soon as you told me that you were doing them all the same, I was like, oh, that's not going to work for you.
No,
that's not going to work. No, definitely not. So anyway, we were specifically talking about her, the background quilting. And let me zoom in. I know I have a picture that's that really kind of gets it.
Close up, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, these are just like, I just fell in love with the background. So there is that background.
Yeah.
I know. And
not how I usually quilt.
Not at all.
I'm a complete free motion by the seat of my pants. Don't mark it. Don't plan it. Just have fun with it. But once I thought of it, that's the worst part.
Yeah.
Once you think of it, you got to do it.
Right.
So it came to my head, and then I was stuck with it.
Yeah. So, okay.
Worth the time.
All right. So hold on. Let me see if I can fix this. So, there we go. All right. You guys are going to see movement here in just a second. I'm just adding some stuff. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. This lovely program. All right, so we're going to get small. I just want you guys to be able to see the background kind of as we talk. So, okay, Barb, tell us how you did it.
Okay. So, the stars are offset, but what gets created are some grid work on its own. Some points where you can connect it easily with my marking tool. And the reason I use this is because I never mark, so I obviously would never mark before I put the quilt on, because that's how you would want to mark it.
And that makes it so much easier.
Sure.
Yeah.
I want to mark it when it's on there. So this marks really well, and it also just brushes off. And it's just chalk.
I think I have that.
I mean, it's like, you can get this at Joann's. This is not like, this is a really, really old tool. And you can get the chalk in multiple colors.
Don't use the other colors, though.
No.
Do the other colors work?
I just really like the white. I mean, it works for me. And it also is only good if what you're marking doesn't need to be fine, and precise. So like what you mark is really has to be precise. This is broad strokes type of marking, and that's why it works so good. So I was able to connect between stars with straight lines and generally create it myself a 2-inch grid.
Okay.
A 2-inch background grid, and I would mark a whole row as I advance the quilt, and then quilt that, and then
Okay.
Yep, and then go from there.
Love that. Now it looks like you actually used a ruler, but I'm sure you did not.
No. Oh my God, mark it and use a ruler?
Well,
no. No. And it's king size.
Don't
right?
go crazy.
So there's thousands of these that have to be done. And instead of doing it one time, I was like, oh, well, if I do this, basically I created triple the amount of work.
Yeah.
But it looks so pretty.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to show you, or Barb's going to show you how she actually did that. Okay. And I'm going to give you a marker because I'm going to be able to see it.
Okay.
And let's get, okay.
All right. So here we go. So instead of doing a single, right?
And this goes back to, like, these are continuous curves.
Yep.
And there's so many different ways you can do continuous curves. And this is the normal, simple way.
So my problem with this was that it is a 2-inch grid, and I wanted the quilting to be a little denser. And also, with higher density, there's less obvious discrepancies in your actual quilting.
Right.
So I always work all the way from left to right, and I would go all the way across the king size quilt, and then I work my way back because I'm faking out my machine, not getting a lot of breakage from moving right to left.
Right. Okay.
I go both directions on my long arm all the time. So here's what I did: 1, 2, 3. Yep, triple the work, people. 1, 2, 3.
I love that.
And it's very forgiving, because then as I come back the other way,
okay, and this is where you talk about faking out your machine, because you're going up and it's not a constant right to left.
Exactly. And I use these up and downs. And like if I had just done the bottom row all the way back,
you would have gotten
I would have got breakage.
Definitely on a king size.
Yeah.
And just so you guys know, the breakage that you get, it's not like machine specific, as far as it's only this machine that does that. Your machine just generally doesn't like to go in that direction. So I'm not sure why we're getting that little box on there, so just ignore that. My camera's been doing something weird. I love how that looks.
So you can see how prettier this is and how forgiving.
Yeah.
All right, now I'm going to tell you why this is so forgiving.
All right.
Between the stars, between all the white stars, is a perfect 2-inch grid. It was measured that way.
Okay.
I did not know I was going to quilt it this way, so I didn't piece according to that. The sashing between the rows is 5.5 inches instead of 4.
Oh.
So
what did you do?
It's the same exact thing, only my grid was exactly 2 inches this between these lines,
Mm-hmm.
but it was 2 1/4 between these
Get
lines.
out. So, okay, so they're not all
Symmetrical.
okay. I
Right?
wonder if we can see that in that picture. Let's go back.
Go back to the picture and
Let's
you'll
go back.
see.
Is that where's the
Yeah, all between that whole strip
let's see,
right
I
there.
think I can get it bigger. So hold on. Let's zoom in.
Yeah, zoom
So-
in right in there.
Can you see that?
Yeah, you can kind of see it. So they look a little
Oh,
bit like
okay.
rectangles,
Yeah.
but because
So you're talking about this area right
yes,
here.
exactly.
Okay, right in the middle. I'm using the little hand thing and thinking that you guys can see that. But basically, since it wasn't, yeah, you would have made it a 4-inch.
Yes, I would have had I known
Had
that
you
I
known
wanted
that
to
you were
do
going to be
this.
quilting it that
Right.
way. Gotcha.
Right. So Neil, show them.
Okay,
that.
so let's go back. Oh, hold on, we're having technical difficulties. We'll go back to that for just a second. For some reason, this gets warm.
So you have perfect 2-inch grid between all the stars. And then you have a little bit of a rectangle in the sashing. And this was the easiest way to basically solve the problem because I have 5 inches instead of 4 inches to work with.
Right.
So each square actually ends up being 2 by 2.5.
Okay.
And it worked out beautifully. There was
You'd never know.
you would
Well,
never know.
with all of
Yeah.
that in there, you would never
Yeah.
notice that.
Yeah.
Love
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
Now I'm like going, oh, what did I make that I can use that on the background of? I really want to do that. But you know me, I'd probably have to be stupid and like pull out a ruler and make it so much harder than it needs to be.
Yeah, this was a way for me to kind of marry the two ideas
Yeah.
of having something that was clearly grid and looks like it was well planned out,
Right.
versus an all over fill design, which is what I normally do. And so when I went into the stars, I kind of was able to, in my world, relax and just create all different fills,
Right.
which is where I like to live,
Right.
you know. And
So
they
let's take a look
complemented each
at
other really well.
some of the stars. So we'll make that smaller again. All right, so let's take a look at some of those stars. What do we got going on?
I kind of used, I went into it with the idea that it's still a very traditional quilt.
Okay.
So I really was using soft, feathery, paisley, and circular ideas.
Okay.
I didn't do anything that was like a grid. I didn't pull in like a complete grid work
Mhm.
where everything else is soft. So I just went with let them be a collection of,
I love that.
yeah.
I love that.
So,
So like, you know, me and feathers, we've
Right.
got that like
and you know, it
the
took,
feathers in this upper corner
yeah.
that just love
Yeah.
that.
And you know me in circles. So if you guys want to see all of these stars, go to my Instagram account. And over the next week, I'm just going to be posting what I used
I love that.
and ideas for it. So
I love that. So you have to tell them what your Instagram handle is.
BP Quilts.
Well, that's
Yep,
easy.
That's
enough.
easy, right?
That's really
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah. So if you go in and you follow me on BP Quilts, you'll see occasionally when I post things.
I'm working on her to get her to post more, you know.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
work in progress.
I'm like-
I actually went, because when this morning I had this, you know, idea, I was like, oh my God, I loved what she did. I want her on, you know, on the Facebook Live today. And I said, well, let me see if she actually posted it on Facebook. No, I don't think you've posted anything since.
About me being here?
No, just posted in
Oh,
general
no,
on
no,
Facebook
no,
since
no.
2021.
No. Everything I post on Instagram goes over to Facebook, but it's Barbara Persing Quilts.
Okay, I was not on Barbara
Right.
Persing.
So
Quilts.
if you want to see, because I'm very technically challenged, I'm just going to call it that. I post everything on Instagram and share it on my Facebook. And I did have a personal Facebook account, but now it's Barbara Persing Quilt. So BP Quilts again. So there's some kind of thread of connection.
Yeah.
You can also see on my Facebook page.
Yeah. If you guys have any questions, you know, just throw them into the comments and you know, we can address them if you have any. But yeah, so what are you working on now, Barb?
What
I
am
don't know. There was a
supposed to be
sea of
working on?
red on your design wall.
That's another personal piece. Yeah, I'll probably start posting about that. I'm doing another king size quilt, so I have to have a red quilt for December and a red quilt for February.
Okay.
So these are going to be my 2 personal quilts.
Okay.
So I kind of work on that on the side. And I have a fabric line that's coming out in January with Island Batiks.
Nice.
Yes,
Love that.
They're relaunching my Full Bloom. So I made some companion quilts that are easier,
Okay.
smaller, less intimidating than the
Right.
original pattern.
You know, that's right up
Yeah.
my alley.
Yeah, yeah. I know you
Small.
love small, right? Small. Yeah.
You know, my ADHD, ADD,
Yeah.
whatever. Like
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, squirrel.
Yeah.
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 King size quilts. I don't know.
Yeah. So there's always something going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. So let's see. We've got a couple people that have. Hi, Karen. I'm glad you joined us. Okay. So Jeannie says that the fill is brilliant. Love that. Yes, I completely agree, Jeannie. Completely agree. We're going to move that so you guys can see it. Okay. Quiltsy Linda wants to see the backing. The back of your quilt.
Oh my God, the back of the quilt's amazing.
So
These stars are amazing.
yeah, so we're gonna make sure that she posts that on Instagram.
Yeah, and I'll send some over to Lisa, and she can post it on her Facebook,
Yeah.
this Facebook page that you guys are used to following. But the back looks really cool, and now it makes me want to do a solid quilt with just thread work. I don't have
What,
time
the
for
thread
that.
work with all the continuous curves like that and the marking and everything?
Yeah, like if I had, you know, like marking, yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's why my brain would explode.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But the back of the quilt, because I did all the stars obviously in the white, so I always use the same color in my bobbin as I do on my top.
Okay.
Because I think the top of the quilt is what's most important, and you certainly don't want these little red picks coming up in the middle of your white stars. So the white star fill on the back of the quilt just looks amazing.
All right. So you're going to have to send me a picture of that and
We'll
I'll
get you
post
some of
it.
those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Sandy found you on Instagram and she says she loves the stars.
Oh, good.
We like that. We like that. All right. Well, that's all we've got for you today. And hopefully, if you guys use this particular fill, this continuous curve fill, I want to see pictures of it.
Yes, me too.
I know. It's something so simple. So
Yeah.
simple. All right. You know, it has been a while since I've done a Facebook Live. So I wanted to thank you guys all for dropping in. And I will be back next Monday. Not sure what we're going to do next Monday, but if you guys have suggestions, just leave it in the comments.
And if Lisa calls me 2 hours ahead and says, hey, you want to do this today? Maybe you'll see me again.
Yeah.
Because she's got the technology down. I'm willing to run over, jump in the studio, and hang out.
And it'll be a new studio next week. So maybe I'll post some progress pics on before and after videos of what my studio looks like.
Definitely.
Yeah. I think
We're going to get it going.
Yeah. All right,
All right.
people. Have an awesome day.
Monday.
Go do quilty stuff, and we'll see you next week. All right. Bye.